What's up, bosses? Today I'm reviewing SHOCKSTARS 2004. SHOCKSTARS 2004 is an album that you either know or you don't know. By GORE STREET, which is made up of REJECTEDREYNA and Craig and Reyna, two pretty good artists. I mostly like Reyna, although his output is a little inconsistent, I can't lie. He'll either make the worst thing you've ever heard or the best thing you've ever heard, and pretty much no in between. Unless he's making rock music for some reason, and then that was just kind of mid. But SHOCKSTARS 2004 is one of the most innovative trap metal projects I've ever heard. And it's not just like trap metal like Denzel Curry has made trap metal. I'm talking about like the loud stuff. Like I'm talking about like the crazy stuff like the DIRTYBUTT and, well, that sounds kind of weird. That's the name of an artist if you don't know. He's really good. He makes some really loud music. But him and Reyna and Craig and people like that, I like to call it hardcore trap. It's like trap metal, but even metalier. It's hardcore trap, or hardcore trap metal, I guess, if you want to call it that. There's many projects like that. You know, you could take Analog Horrorcore by DIRTYBUTT, which is one of my favorite albums in general, or Terrordrome by REJECTEDREYNA, which has a lot of this stuff. That one's also pretty good. But SHOCKSTARS is just different from all of them. Like, it just has a different sound. I've never heard anything like it, and I probably won't ever again, just because of how niche it all is. The album has a unique property, and that's its rhythmic qualities. If you take a song like Can You Handle Life, listen to not only the bass, which has this like groovy rhythm to it, but also the way the rapping works on top of it, adding its own rhythm over it. I've never once heard a trap metal song and had the urge to like dance to it, but this is the exception. Can You Handle Life isn't the only song like that on here though. You can say the same thing about Blank Room Soup, Mannequin, and Happy. And since I've already mentioned the rapping, we'll move on to that. It's incredible. Craig and Reyna both have flows that just feel like they shouldn't work, but they do magnificently. Take Craig's verse on Blank Room Soup. Not only does he perfectly incorporate the beat into his writing, but he also gets into what I'll call a tangent, where he begins this unstoppable flow that does its own thing, disregarding the beat entirely, until it ends at the perfect time to join in harmony with the rest of the production once again. There are moments where he'll do this for extended periods of time, like the last half of his verse on this song. This is the rapping that shouldn't work, but just ends up doing so anyway. That style of rapping can be found at any point of the album, and the writing itself is just as amazing. One reason I like these grotesque horrorcore songs is that they are free to write about literally anything. Most of the time, they just sound cool. These are some of my favorite lines. Now let's talk about the production of this thing, because that's what propels it from really good to absolutely incredible. Even right as you begin the album, you immediately are introduced to where you're getting yourself into. I can't even really describe the sound. It's like a bell, some high-pitched thing, and then distorted screaming, all before it suddenly diverges completely into this intimidating dubstep. It seriously sets up an atmosphere and makes the two rappers feel so powerful, especially Reyna's entrance. It ends in this weird collection of screams all chopped up before perfectly transitioning into the next song. Even before the beat starts in Nana 825763, it's already extremely hype. Reyna's voice just by itself is loud, and it makes the moment you hit the beat even harder. Now there's an insane amount of detail in this album, more than I could ever go through. The beat stopping, then exploding again, time with Reyna's line, and immediately switching up. As well as a lot of screaming and vocal chops through every single song, and just a lot of sound effects in general. I mean, just listen to the sound when, once again, the beat stops, and the sound I can't even describe goes from one ear to the other before it picks back up. And everything so far I've had to say about this song has been under 30 seconds of it. I could go through the entire album like that, but it would obviously take absolutely forever, and it wouldn't be worth it anyway since I already did that exact thing in an hour-long video I uploaded, and just last night I found something that I had missed. In Na Na too. The thing I missed was, right after Craig says the line, "Pop the Glock, fucking spill me," there's a scream and then blood splatter sound effect that I had never noticed before. I can't imagine what else is in this thing that I just still have not found yet. I'll just stick with one more thing to the production of Na Na. The glockenspiel you hear during the scream comes back for a second in the middle of Reyna's verse. But anyway, that's just this one song. So let's move on to some of the others. First of all, the Addicted to Snuff beat is amazing. I love the ooze and the way the bass sounds. Again, it's very dubsteppy, which is a common sound this album has, which isn't something you really find in trap metal like this. Just listen to the breakdown at the end of the song. What in the world is this production? This is a tiny niche album of a niche genre with two rappers that have barely hit 10,000 monthly listeners, and this is what they're bringing. In Can You Handle Life, a lot of the transitions are mixed with these screaming and other high-pitched sounds. I mean, do you realize how unnecessary that is? It could just transition silently, which it does sometimes do, where the bass just cuts out for a second and it sounds perfectly fine. But instead, they introduce a brand new sound just to switch up the beat a little. Blake Grimsip is the absolute star here for good production. Take this moment where the beat cuts out. How would you describe the sound of it coming back? You hear this strange clicking that I can't really describe any further. I have no idea how they made this sound. After that, there's a tiny drum break that just sounds incredible. And then just hear how it transitions into the bridge. Again, can't describe it at all. On top of the bass at that point starting to sound like a revving chainsaw, it's complete overkill. And here with this weird breath sound effect in the background, something so subtle that you probably wouldn't notice, but if you do, it sounds amazing. Let's talk about the interlude, a song that I didn't really care that much about until I made that video where I went through the whole thing. I did not realize how crazy this song was. First of all, remember this album is extremely electronic. From the weird vocal effects to the literally dubstep beats, as well as a bunch of sounds that are common in a DAW. Tell me if this song sounds like electronic dubstep. It doesn't at all. You have these screeching violins going from ear to ear, a piano that sounds like it's being played in a giant empty room, these reverb heavy whispered vocals. It sounds great, and it's a freaking interlude that has like zero relation to any other song on here. It's a whole different style and they just pulled it off perfectly. When the interlude ends abruptly and you're met with the most abrasive and chaotic bass of the entire album, that's where it gets good. Not only is it, like I just said 1 second ago, the most abrasive and chaotic bass of the entire album, it comes right after this very soft and quiet interlude, which makes it go so hard. Dude, oh my god. Listening to that and then going straight back into the trap metal, it makes it hit so much harder. And finally for this section, I'm going to talk about Tormentor. This is something I really noticed while going through the whole album a bit ago. When the synth hits on Tormentor and Craig is just screaming and rapping with what is barely a flow, like he's a crazy person, while his vocals are just being suffocated by the beat. I mean, I don't know what to say. This is amazing. It's just so visceral. And this brings us to the best moment of the album. Reyna screaming at us, adrenaline, morphine, torment, torment, slowing down, getting quiet, before building back up again, until suddenly, everything completely changes. This is potentially the best song on the album. It's this or Can You Handle Life For Me? Remember earlier during the interlude where I said they did a genre completely unrelated to every other song perfectly? Well, they did it again. Amnesia Path is just unbelievable. The synths and guitars are heavenly, with the vocals on top just being so sentimental. The subject matter is way different as well, being about the suicide of someone they loved. Even though it obviously isn't real, it's still just so sad, and it's just as effective of making me sad as the rest are getting me excited. It's basically perfect. Every instrument sounds incredible, it's sung really well, the lyrics are really sad and sound genuine. And yet again, this is a niche album made by people who have barely broken 10,000 monthly listeners, and nobody knows about this song. Isn't that kind of wild? The last track isn't really special for the most part. It's similar to Doll, but not as interesting, as well as being entirely instrumental. Although the scream that happens 2/3 of the way through is pretty gut-wrenching. It's so full of despair and sounds so lost, especially with the distortion on top of the now fully progressed instrumental. It coming out of nowhere is pretty heavy and does make the outro worth something. Well, that's every song. I can now say that this is my favorite album of all time. There's zero mistakes, zero slip-ups, zero skips, nothing wrong with it at all. Unfortunately, I'm obligated to mention the title track. I honestly may have overrated it, my original score being a 4 out of 10. This has gotta be a 3 out of 10 song at the very least. It's trash, it's an embarrassment, it's a stain on everybody's discography who worked on it. This is a song that features DIRTYBUTT and NASCAR Outlaw, and somehow they both have the worst verses of the whole album, and it isn't even close. It starts interesting. It's the most unique beat on the album, being really glitchy and staticky. It sounds like it could be good. Craig's verse on it is alright. I don't really have a problem with it, although it really isn't that interesting. Reyna's verse is okay. It sounds like something he'd put on one of his bad albums like Cryptids or Chronographic. It doesn't have a good flow, it doesn't have good lyrics, it's performed in this really awkward way. The mixing sounds nothing like any other song, which isn't good because it was already perfect. After Reyna's verse is the most brutal and scariest part of the album, where we're forced to listen to NASCAR Outlaw try to rap about horror. Not only do his vocals sound awful, even worse than Reyna's, but his lyrics are complete garbage. The lyrics go, "I'll make you escape them bowels. The decrescendo of your screams is arousing." Decrescendo? And then it's stock scream sound effects. That's something like how it sounded. "I flush you down the toilet." Not clever how you try to get away. Just get back in. Storytelling is wonderful. Like, it's just so, like, I just can't imagine what he was thinking while writing that. I mean, the other lyrics on this song are so good. Like, we could talk about Mannequin. Let's talk about Mannequin. "You get shot, slit, cut in two, pack yours up, then move it. Oh, mannequin, my mannequin, I stuff you in until it's full. Bite deep, bone wire, shimmy, shimmy through it's through. Decomposing in the plastic, name and face might make the news." Alright, like, it's interesting lyrics, they're scary. "Feeling dead again, I pop the head again. ACP, I feel fucking lead again. Parts are separated, now I'm spreading them. Lacerated, put inside a puppet for my own pleasure, get fucking nothing." Like, it's, like, interesting, it's scary, it's creative, like, it's based off something real. But, like, it's not just, like, it's not even just, like, "I'm gonna kill you." It's, you know, it has a creative way of doing it, right? It has a creative motive for doing it. And then you go to SHOCKSTARS, or you go to NASCAR. "Not clever how you try to get away. Just get back in." Like, I'm scared of Reyna and Craig, because they're gonna kidnap me and kill me and do bad things to my body. But then NASCAR is just, like, "Not clever how you try to get away, just get back in." Like, he's, like, kidnapping you and then you escape. And he's like, "Just get back in, man. Like, please, can you just get back in?" I'll just let you hear the last line. I mean, is this supposed to be about kidnapping people and hurting them for your enjoyment? Or is this just like admitting your fetishes? No, NASCAR, you're supposed to sound disgusting morally, not actually gross. And then Karan Thomas is here to sing like a weirdo, which is something he really likes to do for some reason. I just can't with these lines. Kill your ass just for some clout. Check the blood, cause there's no doubt. It's horrible. I mean, like, anybody could write this. It's not intimidating. It's not interesting. It's not cool. It doesn't sound good at all. There's nothing good about any of these two verses. And I'm just gonna let you read the last couple lines again. The part in the song where he goes, it just sounds so good. Like, it's such a good decision. Because, like, this whole album has great decisions of how it sounds. Because they make a million tiny little efforts just throughout the album constantly that keep it entertaining and are amazing. And then DIRTYBUTT comes on it and it goes, That's his contribution to the album. And the last line is certainly up there and just worst lines I've heard in my entire life. Yeah, this album really is incredible, but I hate the title track beyond belief. It sounds ironic, it sounds like a joke, it's written like a parody. Somehow, though, it found its way onto what really could have been my favorite album ever. Unfortunately, they made a humongous, critical, unbelievable, unfathomable, gigantic mistake, and now it sits at a measly number 2. Here are my individual song scores for the album. The top 3 are definitely Can You Handle Life, Blank Room Soup, and Amnesia Bath, although I don't have a specific order for these. It's impossible to decide. Listen to this. If you don't like trap metal, listen to Amnesia Bath, because it really is amazing. Submit to this album being incredible, because how can you even disagree? Next is going to be Analog Horrorcore. We're going to see if that album is actually potentially better than SHOCKSTARS, which is completely possible. Both are the absolute peaks that trap metal has hit, and probably will ever hit, because I have little hope for the future of this genre. GORE STREET broke up. DIRTYBUTT hasn't put out a good album in years. Reyna's just making like rock music now. I don't really know. Craig hasn't released anything that crazy ever since SHOCKSTARS. I don't know who to turn to at this point, but maybe someone will just come out of nowhere. I have seen Insanity, his one and only song Dead Meats, has one of Craig's best verses ever. Although I'm sorry to say that Insanity's verse kind of sucks. He seriously needs to work on his production. Whatever sound effects he was putting on his vocals just don't sound good at all. Like, it hurts to listen to. I mean, his flows are okay. They're really not that interesting, like, at all. But, I mean, at least if it sounded fine, then they can maybe be passable. Especially with how good Craig's verse is. Like, I would not mind listening to it. But, like, I literally cannot stand Insanity's verse. It's horrible. But I hope he gets better. Because maybe he'll be the one to make the next great trap metal album that'll glaze until the end of time. That'd be cool. Watch the Analog Horrorcore video when it comes out. Watch the full SHOCKSTARS review if you wanna. And yeah, this album is an 8.5 out of 10. Although it should probably be an 8.4 because SHOCKSTARS would bring down the average some. Yeah, 8.4. Second best I've ever heard. Although, interesting. So if I were to move, I'm just realizing this. If I were to move SHOCKSTARS down 1 point, like the song SHOCKSTARS, the title track, then the album as a whole would tie with Loveless by My Bloody Valentine as number 2. Number 2 and 3, I guess. That's very interesting. That's interesting. Which could mean that Loveless could grow on me, like maybe I'll rate one of the songs higher, which means it would overtake SHOCKSTARS 2004 as being the number 1 or number 2. I guess we'll have to see what happens with that, but yeah, I'll get into that another day. So, alright, bye, boss.